What in the world is going on here? What in the world? Michael Morgan says, Doom Bulge Cam EDC. I don't know about that one. I don't know about the old Bulge Cam. Anyways, I think that my stream actually popped on me there for a second. So hopefully you guys are still actually watching this. Shocker. Amateur hour over here at the Rollshambo residence. Hey, we got Top Dog in the house. How's it going, Top Dog? Hope you're feeling better. I know he mentioned that he wasn't feeling too good last week. I know the bugs have been going around. It's absolutely nuts. Oreo Dave says, rub my dome EDC. Oh, that's good stuff. That's absolutely good stuff. We got Demonoc13. He says, what's up, everybody? How's it going? All right, guys. So there are some knives that I want to talk about today. The first knife that I actually want to talk about is from Tempest Knives. If you don't know who Tempest Knives is, that's Knives Fast. And he came out with the Pinion, but he's also going to be coming out with one called the Microburst. Now, the Microburst is actually one that I think looks really good. And here's the thing, I'm not normally a thumb stud guy, but that just looks awesome. To me, that Microburst with the black wash blade and the black micarta, the blade shape kind of looks like a Berg's blade type shape. It's a sheep's foot cleaver style. I actually really like it. And the pre-order is going live on the 21st. And here's the thing, it's 14C28N, it's micarta, and I know that he's using really good micarta, and they'll be shipped out about 2.5 months afterwards, which is not a long wait time for a pre-order. So $89. But my question is to you, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of the Microburst? I know personally me, and I'm just going to say this because I'm being honest, I'm not a huge fan of wire clips. Could I grow to love it? I mean, yeah, if I can live with the stock pocket clip on a Manix 2, I can live with the wire clip. Wire clips actually feel really good in hand. They fit in the pocket well. They just don't look good. And it's a matter of opinion. I actually think that clip would be rather easy to replace if you're like me and you're not big on wire clips. But I'm curious, what do you think of the Tempest Knives Microburst? That looks like a Berg's blade shape, and I love it. For $89, yeah, you know this is going to be a good EDC fidget type of carry. I'm excited about it. Absolutely. But you let me know in the chat. Have you heard of the Microburst? Are you going to check one out? Are you going to get one? Oreo Dave says, I'd love to support KC, but I'll wait for another design that I like. Hey, you got to be honest, man. It's your money. We work for that. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Top Dog says, bursting is good. I tend to agree. Honey Bear says, ratios look horrendous. I love it. Did I mention the Olamic whippersnappers in my top 5? Man, I love the whippersnapper. One of these days, I'll get one. Today is not that day. It's hard for me because every day there's a knife that I try to convince myself to buy. And then the responsible part of me says, no, no, no. Like, don't buy it. See, like, don't do that. And every now and then I don't listen to myself. And then I get something and it just sits in my drawer as a reminder of why I need to actually think about purchases first. Demonoc says, it looks better than his other knife. You know what? I wasn't a huge fan of the look of the Pinion personally, but I know that it was super functional. I know that it's very fidget friendly, that it's got a good action. And as I've learned with my Spydercos, I didn't used to like the way that Spydercos looked either. But it turns out that if knives are good enough, people will overcome their opinion and create new opinions. And I'm not saying that these knives are Spyderco quality knives or whatever. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that Spyderco has proven that knife design can grow on people, because my first impressions of Spydercos when I first started buying knives, like seriously, was I thought they were ugly. And now I own more Spydercos than any other knife brand. My collection's not super, in depth. I've got 50 knives, but I know that for a lot of people that's actually a small amount. I just can't get over how cool this Utgard Nano is. That's a sweet knife, man. 2-finger, barely 3-finger. As Doom would say, you need to put a doodad on there. It'll help with the grip. I think this is going to get a doodad. But I did not expect that I would like it as much as I do. That is just cool. And the action is pretty good for being just a little guy. The Utgard Nano. But I'm going to be getting my hands on a Microburst, because I've been on a sub $100 knife kick, because after 2022, the amount of good knives that are under $100 is blowing my mind. And it's making me question everything. Like, do I really need titanium? I mean, kind of. I love titanium. I'm such a whore for titanium. Like this is a lot of titanium, and I love it. The Berserker. Now, spoiler alert, they may be dropping a smaller version of this. This one's still in pre-orders, but it's a massive knife. It's bananas. But Midgard's Messer is telling me that they're considering doing a smaller version that's only 8.5 inches long. And sounds like they're going to be willing to send it to me to check out, to give my opinion, because honestly, I love huge knives. Like, this knife is all business, but it's also a lot of fun too. Do I think a smaller one would be cool? Yes, absolutely. But getting back to my point, knives under $100 have been appealing to me in ways that they never have been before, because we're getting more for our money. We're getting more bang for our buck. And that's awesome, because when companies compete in this space, we win. And I like winning. I want to get the most for my money. When eggs cost $10 for a carton of eggs, I want to get the best materials I can in my knife that cost, $80. Hey, we got Mike Reese in the chat. How's it going, Mike? Michael Morgan says, try all caps like Shane. Hey, you guys can't hurt me with your tall letters. Let the tall letters fly. A Top Dog says, what was the name of Casey's first design? As far as I'm aware, the name of Casey's first design was the Pinion. Now, I could be wrong. The Pinion is just the first one that I'm aware of from Knives Fast. And here's the thing. I don't necessarily dislike the look of that knife, because it does everything that I ask for out of a lot of knives. It raises the spine up so that you can have a deployment hole and a fuller, and that makes it very fidget friendly. I love reverse flicking knives. It's my favorite way to deploy a knife. And so to achieve that, it's like he took the blade off of a Spyderco smock, and then he's like, we're just gonna bump that up a little bit so you can get a really good deployment method there. This one's in JG10. He's also got him currently available, $82. And I think I might end up needing to try this one too. Because I think that this is a knife that could grow on me. Every time I talk to someone that's actually handled one of these, they tend to like them. They like the action, they like the fidget factor, the ergonomics are subtle. I like that the pivot's not just a blank pivot. You actually did something there. That's cool. 3.4 inch blade. 7 3/4 inch overall. And because he has a channel, you know that those numbers are accurate. You know that if there were ever to be a knife that was accurately portrayed online, probably one that was designed by a YouTuber. 14C 28N. It's a drop sheet blade, aka modified sheep's foot. The Lynch Northwest Spyderco wire replacement clip does fit this knife. Interesting. I know a lot of people love these wire clips. The wire clips are just not for me. That's my personal opinion. Ergonomically speaking, wire clips are great and they fit in pockets really easily. And so functionality wise, they're great. But something that I've noticed is that if you don't like the way a knife looks, you won't carry it. Unless it's the only thing you have to like the way a knife looks or you just won't carry it. Am I wrong? Would you carry a knife that you don't like the way that it looks? I wouldn't. So that's why clips are important to me. That's why aesthetics are important to me, because if I don't like the way it looks, I'm not going to carry it. But this Microburst, I do like the way that looks. And if you wanted to try out both, you could get them for $168 and get both of them. But personally, I think I'm going to be going for this guy right here. You know what? Is the handle longer than the blade? Yes. But I like that blade shape. I like the micarta handle scales. I like 14C. And I'm okay with the shorter blade as long as I don't have to sacrifice purchase. Like, I want to be able to hold on to the knife, which is why it's absolutely blowing me away how much I like this guy, because this is not a full 4-finger grip at all. But I could totally see myself destroying some Amazon boxes with this. K Mason says, Honey Bear, Mimo, Reese, everyone. Hey, how's it going, K Mason? I'm just catching up on the chat, so I'm a little bit behind. Top Dog says, you're not wrong. Looks are everything for me. Yeah, man. Like, if I'm going to carry it, if I'm going to take up pocket real estate, I have to like the way that it looks. Like, I have to. I'm not going to wear clothes that I don't like. I'm not going to put on shoes that I don't like. When it comes to the aesthetics, it's important. What else do we got? Let's go ahead and check out what's going on over at White Mountain Knives. Shout out, by the way, to White Mountain Knives for the recent partnership, helping me out with some review content. That's huge. Ooh, check that out. The Devo Growler coming soon. So if you missed out on the Growler, you're going to have another chance. And I've been hearing all over the place that the Devo Mash has been a massive hit. I think it was released on Blue Creek, and then they sold out very quickly, and people are starting to get them, and people love them. The people that I've talked to that got the Devo Mash absolutely love it. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I didn't get in on it, but I probably should have. Let's see what's coming soon. We got the Kershaw Radar, the Kershaw Balanza, the Strata. How about we do this? We're gonna go ahead and sort by price, and we're gonna go super expensive. The gold class Benchmade Mini Osborne. So, is it just me, or are the gold class Benchmades just bougie as hell? Now, I had an opportunity to buy a 2022 exclusive, gold class Benchmade Mini Osborne, but I had the opportunity to buy it at like a third of the price that they're going for now, and I said no because I didn't like the way that it looked. But even if I didn't, I should have bought it because I could have turned around and sold it and made a profit and bought 3 or 4 knives that I did like. So if you ever have an opportunity to get a gold class Benchmade for a quarter of the price, which they do every now and then for like special releases, just do it. Turn around, sell it later if you don't like it. Don't make that mistake. I made that mistake. I like the Osborne. That's a little too bougie for me, to be honest. I don't think I could carry that. I like the Osborne. That style is a little bougie. $700. $700, but you get the Damasteel. You get the blue fat carbon fiber. Yeah, Top Dog says, I'm really sorry I missed the mash. Dude, I missed it too. They sold out. They did not stick around. The Midgard's Messer Viking V2, but I've already mentioned that. You guys know that's coming out. This is one that I'm actually pretty interested in. The bladehq Togata. Now, this is another Cohen's Craft design. I checked out the bladehq Loch Ness, which is a Cohen's Craft design by Morgan Cohen's. And the Togata, from what I hear, is supposed to be extremely good. Look at that. Is that a fat carbon inlay? Titanium, of course, M390. That looks good, man. It looks really good. $340. A little rich. We're starting to get into the rich territory. How many eggs can you sacrifice? $10 a carton. Something to think about. Beard of Doom says, not bougie. It's freaking aluminum. Overpriced crap. They're definitely doing more. And then Michael Morgan says they're definitely doing more mash. Man, they better, because I need to get my hands on one. So it's funny, Doom, that you mentioned that you think Benchmader's overpriced crap, because one of my coworkers just got this guy, and he lent it to me because I got to do a review on it. Because I've never done a review on a Benchmade knife before. This is the Benchmade Adamas. Big old knife, axis lock, G10 handle scales, TrueWear blade, $300. That's what these go for. These go for $300. Now, I will say this. The axis lock on this is extremely easy to actuate. I mean, I can do it with one hand. Kind of reminds me of the drop bear. It's actually a lot harder to actuate the B-lock on this Benchmade Ronin. Can I do it with one finger? Yes. Do I suggest that? No. 2 fingers, pull down. It's good. Somebody actually commented, because I released my Grailer garbage ranking on the Ronin today. After like a month of having it, I finally got around to releasing my Grailer garbage. I've been having some good problems lately where I've been just getting behind on my rankings. And so, yeah, it took me a month to actually do the ranking on this guy. But someone commented, and they're like, the Ronin hurts my fingers. And the only way, because here's the thing. Is it stiff? Yes. That's okay to me, because I know an issue that a lot of people have with these Benchmade axis locks is that the axis lock, the Omega spring, is weak. And then it breaks, and then they have to replace it. I have a feeling that when Bladehq did this lock, they're like, we don't want to get a bunch of complaints from people about the Omega spring breaking. So let's just make it a sturdy gauge of spring. That's why I'm pretty positive that's what happened on here, because the amount of pressure that it takes to engage the B-lock is completely different than the amount of pressure it takes to engage, an axis lock. And I'm not decided yet if I like the action on this or not, because watch this. I release the axis lock. Nothing happens. The lock is released. Now, by comparison, on the Ronin, I release the B-lock. I want to see the blade move when I release that lock. I want that positive reaction from the blade. I want to know that something's happening when I release the lock. On this Benchmade Adamas, you release the lock, nothing happens. Now, it could just be the difference between phosphor bronze washers or bearings. But I'm going to review this regardless, and I haven't decided if I like the washers on here or not. But I know that the washers are on there because it's considered a hard use knife. You know, got to use your knives. Chop down trees. Be a man. I don't know. Beard of Doom says, I have a tramp stamp, like a legit one, Chinese writing above my crack. Got it when I were 14, Spanish Harlem in some dude's apartment. Man. Shout out to Doom's tramp stamp. Oreo Dave wants to see pics or it didn't happen. And it's like you guys are determined to make sure that this live stream does not get monetized. Anyways, let's go ahead and check this out real quick. Dropping February 3rd, the Wii Maki Maki. I don't know how to say that. Looks like black carbon or black copper titanium copper foil carbon. Wow, that is a mouthful. Or you could just go ahead and do the black flamed blue titanium. This, you know what? I know that these are going to be good knives, but I also know that they don't do anything for me aesthetically. And at $300, it better. Got a Togata. We got some Jack Wolf knives. It seems like Jack Wolf knives come out with a new slip joint like every month or two. Every like 2 months, they've got a new one. But they use good materials. More Wii Makis. If you don't want an inlay, you can get it with the regular titanium. What else do we have? A fixed blade version of the Adamas. And then the Wii Trogon. I think I mentioned this one already, but this is one that I actually do want to check out. I really like the look of this one. This one looks subtle yet complex. I like the fuller right there. The fact that the fuller is in line with the thumb studs let me know that it's going to be something that you can access, I believe. So it's going to be good. Yeah, you can access that fuller 100%. That's going to be a good one. $300. Still pricey. Lordy. That is pricey. But I like that you can see the milling lines on that titanium. I like these, polished and cut out speed holes. It's for weight reduction, but how much weight do you truly lose on that? I don't know. How much is it supposed to weigh? It's supposed to weigh 4.38 ounces. This is going to be heavier than a lot of people will accept. But the Trogon is one that I have been looking at and I do think is going to be a good knife. Just like we looked at the hyphen and we knew that people were going to love the hyphen. And then, of course, it sold out like immediately. What else do they got? Man, let's see what's new. Wow. Okay. Got a TS Prof. Wow, the TS Prof Pro Hunter Knife Sharpening Kit is $855. I think that if I were to get a knife sharpening kit that was that expensive, I'd probably just get a Wicked Edge. Nothing against TS Prof, but that is a lot to sharpen your knives. The Curtis Knives F3. I thought those always look cool. And it looks like they've got the F3 medium with the slim warning. Now, I heard that there were some issues with these. I want to say it was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Popular YouTuber was having some issues where the lock was not locking up. And then he sent it in to get fixed. They argued with Curtis Knives. It got sent back and the lock bar didn't even engage at all. And so despite how much I like the look of this, and despite the fact that I've heard that they've corrected the issues with the lock bars, it does make me a little wary because as much as I want to try one of these, when you spend $700 on a knife, the lock bar better work. That's all I'm saying. They got the Max Ace Hive, good looking knife. Really, really pops out, especially actually in this yellow. Yeah, that's good. That looks good. Hey, Mason says, maybe that coating on the Adamas needs to break in. I mean, it's possible. I have zero experience with Benchmade. But lock is engaged and it's not going anywhere. Like I have to give it wrist flick. And it feels smooth when the blade falls shut. Like, that feels smooth. So, you know, I get it. Washers are better for hard use over time because there's less of an opening for dirt and grime to get in, so it's going to be more reliable. The washers polish themselves over time. But for me, like, why won't it move? There we go. But again, on the Ronin, B-lock, boom. Like, you release the lock and it's almost like it's calling the blade back in. That's how it should be. K Mason says, Beard of Doom, did you see the TS Prof stones? So I don't have a fancy sharpening system. I use a Work Sharp Precision Adjust, and then I also use a lot of this stuff, the Gunny Juice. So if you really want to get a good mirror polished edge, here's the trick. You need to do a grit progression, starting with, say, like 300 grit. Make sure that your bevel is the right angle, degree per side that you want, and then build up a burr on each side. Go ahead, knock that burr off by moving up to another grit, say like from 300 to 600. Do the same thing, get rid of the old scratch pattern, put a new one on there with the new grit. Then you're going to want to remove that one with another grit. Say go from 600 to 800, and then from 800 to 1,000, from 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000, and then start stropping with Gunny Juice. Gunny Juice is measured in microns, which is going to be in the tens and 20s of thousands of grit. And because it's diamonds suspended in a liquid, it's going to cut really well. And that's how you can get a mirror polished edge on a knife like this Best Techman Ronin. People ask me all the time, like, can you do a knife sharpening video? You know what's tough about that? It's boring because it's just going through a grit progression. And I've tried. It's not very exciting content. I will leave that to Neves Knives because he does a much better job with that kind of stuff than I do, but that's all it is to get to a mirror polished. Just get a good grit progression. It's going to take a while. K Mason says, what coating does Benchmade use? So on this one, I want to say that this is a Cerakote. Now, I could be wrong. Let's go ahead and find out. So, let's see. Do they have an Adamas? All right. Yep, here we go. This looks like the one. CPM Crewwear, tungsten gray finish. Interesting. Does not mention what the coating is. What is the coating? All right. We're going to find out. We're going to go to the source, the Butterfly Mecca, benchmade.com. Why not? The blade finish is tungsten gray. It's a tungsten finish? I don't know. That does not make any sense to me. But people like this knife a whole lot. It goes for $325 on Benchmade's website. And I get it, like, you know what? I like the Spyderco Shaman. It's like a $230 knife when you get it as an exclusive, and you get G10 and you get, you know, insert premium blade steel here. So I get it. What I don't get is $325 and we're still rocking G10. Love the Crewwear. I'm not even mad at the Axis lock, but the price, $325. I don't know. I don't know. Like, as long as my friend likes it, that's what matters. But I'm trying to be objective here. Like, do I agree with the pricing? Because that affects the value, and if the value's bad, then I don't know. But Benchmade fans will buy this knife. The Damascus is a very popular knife. People love it. It has a very useless fuller. I mean, it barely even reduces the weight. See, I'm already starting to form some dislikes about this knife. Some things that I like based on my limited time with it. It's very comfortable in the hand. Ergonomics are good. Locks in nicely. You can get a good grip on it. Ice pick grip is fine. You can't really choke up on it, but you don't need to because it's so big that you can get right up there. Now, something that's weird is you have this jimping right here that's behind the spine, but your thumb naturally wants to go up here where there is no jimping. Why didn't they just continue that? Like, your thumb rests there. This is a knife built for man hands. What were they thinking? Come on, Benchmade. You have enough jimping. It's just not located in the right spot. All right. G-Ball Vision in the house. How's it going, G-Ball? Congrats, by the way, to G-Ball Vision. If you guys have not checked out his channel, make sure that you go do so. My man just hit 1,000 subscribers in like 3 months, which is... It took me 7 months to do that. So mad respect to G-Ball Vision. Does knife reviews. If you haven't checked out his channel, make sure you head over there. G-Ball, thanks for hanging out in the chat with us today. I was just excoriating my opinion on the Benchmade Damascus, the $325 knife. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but there it is. So let's see what else is out there. And yeah, I'm probably going to be buying one of these. When the 21st rolls around, I will be getting one. So if you want to know my opinion on it, you might have to wait for the pre-order to go ahead and conclude for me to get one, but I will be checking this knife out. I think that it's sweet. Love the materials. The look of the black blade, black micarta looks great. Let's see what's going on over at bladehq. I haven't checked out bladehq in a few days. So here on their new arrivals list, the BRS Evolve Apache, the knife that everybody was waiting for, is back in stock. I know that some people really like the BRS folding knives. I like their butterfly knives. I think that they make some of the best balisong knives ever. But when it comes to the folding knives, it's like they have somebody else make it and they just slap their name on it. They're like, we don't want any part of the design, just make whatever. Tell me it's cool and we'll put our name on it, we'll sell it, we'll give you a commission. That's what it feels like with BRS folding knives. But their balisongs are... So if you like butterfly knives, they're amazing, but I'm not sold on their folding knives quite yet. Over here, let's go ahead and sort by high to low. Why not? Ooh. Now that is bougie. You got mother of pearl. Custom Shaw engraved 18 karat pearl Damascus. Because if you're a big baller, 12 grand isn't too much to spend on a knife, right? Probably spent more on his watch. If you're buying that, your watch probably costs more than your knife. Hey, I love knives in the chat. How's it going? G-Ball says, I think it's probably about $75 overpriced, probably due to Benchmade and their warranty. 250-ish would be a good price for it, but I bought it at $325, so what do I know? You know what? This is not mine. This was lent to me by a buddy that also bought it for $325. He didn't talk to me about it first. I would have told him to, because you can find these for less. That's the thing, is you can find these Benchmade Damascus for less money. But a lot of Benchmade fans will just go on Benchmade's website, go to their custom shop, order it, and then they love it, and that's fine. You know, whatever. If you decide to spend your money on it, if you put in that effort and you put in your time and your money, it's worth it because you decided it was worth it. I just don't think that the Damascus should be a $325 knife. Another question is, Should this be a $12,000 knife? 18 karat pearl Damascus. Damn. Chad Nichols Mosaic Damascus. Wow. That's beautiful. But if you buy this knife, your watch costs more than your knife. I guarantee it. With the custom engraving too. You know you've made it when you have a $12,000 pocket knife and you carry it. What else they got? Ooh, a Marfion custom stitch. So one day I'm going to have a stitch. I did a swap for a stitch, but it was a clone. Long story short, I do not have a stitch, but I will have one day. Today is not that day. What else? The Chuck Jadritis custom Cleaver Girl. Clever Girl. I said Cleaver Girl. Nice. Yeah, $4,500. But look at that. It's beautiful. Go away, honey. All right. That's absolutely gorgeous. The way that the Damascus travels from the blade all the way down to the handle scales, and then you have that inlay. That is gorgeous. I know what Doom would do. Doom would take that and throw it on his pile of knives. Don't try to convince me that you wouldn't, Doom. You would tell me that that knife is pile worthy. I've seen your pile. Oh. So I'm learning a very important lesson. Don't go to bladehq and filter by price, because you're going to see a lot of knives that are just extremely expensive. Touch titanium liner lock for $2,500. But it looks great. And I bet that that is a very well made knife. Oreo Dave says, I drilled lots. I liked, now just my wife. Not sure I understand. You know what? I'm going to do something that I don't like doing. I'm going to scroll up here on this chat. Oreo Dave says $12,000 for a Benchmade though. The $12,000 knife was this ProTech. 12 grand for this ProTech. With the mother of pearl 18 karat inlay with this crazy mosaic Damascus. It's bananas. $4,600 for a Marfion custom Halo 3 Mini. So you know how we were just talking about how this Utgard Nano from Midgard's Messer is a tiny knife? So is this one, but the difference is this doesn't cost $4,600. I will not get the small knife craze when it comes to knives that cost this much. I just don't get it. I'd much rather get a full-size Halo, but it's a collector's thing. It's got a mother of pearl button, you know, Marfion custom, so it's probably got a mirror polished on the blade. What else? Let's go ahead and get down closer to the realm of reality. What is closer to the realm of reality? We might have to go 4 pages in to start getting there. Yep, here we go. $800 knives. And now we get down to the Olamics. The Paragon Warlock with the green titanium starburst. $700. So this is what I don't agree with. You could get these Paragon Warlocks with their aluminum handle scales for like, you know, $250, whatever. This is a $770 knife just because it has titanium. What? I don't know. S35VN. I mean, I like the Paragon Warlock. I don't agree with that price. I just don't. We got the Heretic Rock Snakeskin. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to get down back to the world of reality here. The Olamic Whippersnapper Warncliffe. So that's cool. The ratios for Olamic is definitely off, but that is a gorgeous knife. It's simple, but also very complex. Love the carbon fiber, the front flipper, deployment hole, blade shape. That's sweet. I would rock that knife. I would carry that knife. CTS XHP, but it's short. It's not even 7 inches long. But the handle scales are 3 inches long. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe I'd need a little bit bigger one. Hey, Tory Casey in the house. How's it going, Tory? Tory Casey says, y'all looking at some bougie stuff. Yeah, man. We started out in the realm of not reality. Okay, so I think I found the Curtis knife that I would check out. I love this color profile. The handle scales kind of remind me of what they're doing on the Havent knives right now. If I were to get this knife and the frame lock did not work or did not lock up correctly, I would be pissed. $700. But it's a custom. Or at least a mid-tech. Oh, that looks great. That looks fantastic. One of these days I'm going to take the dive and I'm just going to get one. CPM Magna Cut 7 3/4 inch on the blade, 3-inch cutting edge, not bad. Yeah, this is going to be good for carry. Or in Doom's case, good for the pile. Just throw it on the pile. Doom says I could honestly sell all my knives and just keep the catastrophe. Hey, we got Fred Eshin in the house. He says at $770, it's modern art, not a knife. You know, I tend to disagree. So, for example, one of my most carried knives is this guy. This is my Strider AR .75. This is a $600 knife, but I carry this all the time. And it's a knife that was built and meant to be used. And you can tell because it's got the stonewash finish on the handle scales. And even after they finished the blade and did the satin on the blade, they also stonewashed that as well because they wanted people to just understand that you're going to get dings on your knife. So for example, this is a $600 knife. I carry this knife all the time. I do use it. And that's why I put a mirror polished edge on there and laid the bevel back because now it actually cuts really well. It's not the best design. There's a couple things they can fix on here. If Strider was watching, and they're not, but if they were, I would tell them that they need to fix that chamfer on the lock bar because it's sharp. Because all the people that buy their knives close them like that. And I would tell them that they need to knock back the edge on that deployment hole because even though it's usable, it's not very comfortable. The only sharp edge on a knife should be the cutting edge. No one can change my mind. What else? Looks like Beard of Doom wants to sell his Shirogorov to fund more knives for the pile. Hit up Beard of Doom if you want to buy a Shirogorov. It's a pretty cool knife. We got sprinkled donuts in the chat. I have some sprinkled donuts right now. Honey Bear says, even if they were, they wouldn't change a goddamn thing. Oh, man. Good stuff. This Curtis Knives F3 though, I think that looks fantastic. All right, now I got a question for everybody. Have you heard of Tier 1 Gear Reviews and Old Squirrel Knives? Because they are coming out with a new knife here very soon. It's this guy. And I hit them up. They're going to send me one to review. They're going to send me a loaner. I'm going to get a chance to check it out. I'm super excited. I believe it's going to be called the Pical, or the Scythe. I've heard both names used for this knife, so I'm not positive. But this knife is ridiculous, and I love it. I love that it's different. I love that they went minimalist on the handle scales and then made it absurd on the blade. That just looks sweet. And I know that they're going to be, I wouldn't say budget, but they're going to be affordable. I can't wait to check that one out. That one's going to be cool. Sprinkle Donut says the little native is right out of the box. Shaman gets here on Saturday. Nice. Congrats on the Shaman, man. My Shaman gets a lot of carry time. One of my favorite carry knives, period. I force myself to put it down though, because I have to carry other knives. And it's not that I don't like carrying those other knives. It's just that I get stuck in a rut really easily if I don't be careful. And I'll spend all week carrying something else. But here's a fun fact. For those of you who watch the Neves Knives channel, Neves actually prefers a Spyderco Manix 2 over a Spyderco Shaman. And I don't know if I agree with that. It's okay. Like, we can have differing opinions, but like, I like the Manix 2. I think that the lock is great. But I also think that pound per pound, the Shaman is just a better knife than the Manix 2. Ergos are better, easier to actuate. The lock is still plenty sturdy. The blade is easier to choke up on and makes sense. The only thing that I can really knock the Shaman for is this little nub, the back of the blade, the nub nibbin thing. Comes and hits you. But get a CME, that doesn't happen anymore. Right. G-Ball Vision says, I wish those Curtis knives weren't so prone to problems. I've heard nothing but problems with them for over a year. Yeah, man. I just mentioned that too, because about a year and a half ago, I saw a video, and I don't know which channel it was. I'm trying to remember, but they had an issue with the lock, and the lock, it was like a weak lockup. They reach out to Curtis Knives. First experience was smooth. They said, okay, send it back. They did. And it gets sent back, and the lock bar doesn't engage at all. Like, you open the knife, lock bar does not move over to secure the blade. And then they reached out to Curtis Knives, and Curtis Knives says, it's all your fault. And they shared the conversation and everything. And I was like, you're kidding me. You're going to spend $700 on a knife and then choose to not believe your customer when your titanium frame lock does not lock up after you fixed it? What in the world? Now, I'm probably not making any friends over at Curtis Knives by saying this, but that's a very legitimate reason to be concerned. Since then, I've seen other videos released from major channels like Metal Complex, where they mention that they've actually improved and they're having less problems. But at the $700 price range, if you're going to demand 700 big ones, for many people, that's a rent check. If you're going to ask for a rent check, your fit and finish better be top notch. Top notch fit and finish, or get out. Because at $700, if you're going to demand that, it better be. Not spending that much for bad fit and finish. But that's great. Really excited for this knife. I've been talking with Tier 1 Gear Reviews, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to get one on the channel. It's going to be good. Can't wait. It's going to be sweet. So, let's see if we can go ahead and catch up on the chat. Tory Casey says, with the CME Shaman without Manix, with the CME, the Shaman. without the Mannix, but I'm a lefty, so it's different. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I take a lot of things for granted being right-handed in this life. And I like the Mannix 2. The Mannix 2 was one of my first Spydercos. Love this knife. Put a mirror edge on this knife. Carried this knife. Got my channel logo engraved on the handle scales. Hard to see. Either way, I like the Mannix 2. I like a lot of Spyderco knives. But if I had to blindly reach for one to carry, I would be carrying the Shaman. Although if I blindly reach for a knife right now, this is going to be the only knife that I can reach because it's everywhere on my desk. Midgard's Messer Berserker. This thing is massive. Thanks, Dave, for putting the link out there for Tier 1 gear reviews. Appreciate it. G-Ball Vision says, at 300, I expect zero problems. At 700, it better be solving problems. At 700, I want a smoothie in the morning with my eggs, and it better be hot and ready by the time I'm ready to go to work. Sprinkled Donut said, yeah, it took me a long time to decide to get a Shaman over the Mannix. I don't think you can go wrong either way. And when it comes to two great knives, which one is better is very subjective. Like, for example, one of the things that I don't like about the Mannix is the over jimping. Like, I like some good practical jimping that's where your thumbs are going to go. But to have the jimping right here, I don't like that. I personally don't like that. I carried this knife a lot, and it was something that just bothered me, was having that jimping digging into my hands. It's not that it's super sharp, but after a while I did notice it and it did bother me. The regular jimping up here is fine, but then you get this aggressive jimping right back here next to that ball cage. And so for me, it's not as ergonomic. Now, could I fix that? Is there things that you can do, like different scales, so on and so forth? Absolutely. But on the Shaman, you just don't have to do that at all. And the Shaman has a backspacer, which I love backspacers. Backspacers are where it's at. Just my personal opinion, but Mike Reese says, G-Ball, it better cut for me at that price. Yeah. Wait, shoot, at a quarter of that price, better cut. Double D says, thoughts on the CKRT Jake. Thoughts on the CKRT Jake? Is the Jake the model? Let's see. Okay. So yeah, this seems like this is going to be a good user knife. Got your lanyard hole right there. Doesn't seem particularly big. We got an IKBS ball bearing pivot, so it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be smooth. Sandvik 12C27 blade. Okay. It's boasting good deployment. $113. You know, CKRT does a pretty good job. Now, I might be a little bit biased because I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest, and that's a Pacific Northwest company. But CKRT has always done a really good job of offering good designs. Now, Ken Onion is kind of their poster child for CKRT. He also does a lot of good work for Kershaw. But Ken Onion designs always do a good job. I don't think you can go wrong with a Ken Onion design. I don't remember the last time I saw him design something that was a bad knife. This specific one, I'm not blown away by. But who knows? Like, for example, I'm not a huge fan of that stamped pocket clip. Is it a bad pocket clip? Probably not. You know, it, as far as stamped pocket clips goes, it's fine, but it's $113. So the pocket clip is not my favorite. It's a liner lock with the flipper. And is that aluminum handle scales? Yep, aluminum handles with G10 inlays. You know, you could do worse. You could absolutely do worse for $113. Ken Onion designs great knives. He does a good job. He's a legend. Ken Onion is a legend. So if you're looking for a good user, I don't think that this is a bad buy. I don't know anything about Sandvik 12C27. Never experienced it. But Sandvik steel is generally pretty good. I like the grippiness, or at least the appearance of that grippiness on the handle scales. And aluminum. I think that aluminum is highly underutilized. Aluminum is such a good handle scale material. It's very similar to titanium, and it's a lot less expensive to put on a knife. But all of a sudden, the market has shifted, and it's got to be micarta, G10, or titanium, or carbon fiber. Get the hell out. Aluminum is good, and it's often overlooked, which is sad because it's such a good handle scale material. All right. G-Ball Vision says, you guys, spoiler alert, the mash from Devo is phenomenal. So well done. I mentioned that earlier. Everyone that I've talked to that got a mash loves it. Hands down, they love it. And I'm kicking myself because I didn't get one. I didn't order it. I didn't sit by and wait for the drop like I should have. I checked it later and they were gone. Now I just get to watch everyone's mashes arrive in the mail and turn green with envy because I wanted one, but I did not act. The good news is I know that Lefty is going to come out with another one. He's going to come out with another run of the mashes, just like he's coming out with another run of the growlers that are going to be on retailers very soon. I'm very, very, very much set on getting a mash on the second run. Hey Mason says at $113, that's Para 3 territory. Well, you are correct, but it's Para 3 lightweight territory. And let's talk about that for a second. So I'm not a huge fan of Spyderco's lightweight because they use FRN handle scales. So let's do this. Okay. So I severely dislike the texturing that they do on the FRN handle scales. The FRN handle scales are also not my favorite material as far as hand feel is concerned. You still get a pretty decent, CTS BD1N. It's not bad. The lightweight knives, I'm not a huge fan of. Now, I don't know anything about that Sandvik steel. Sandvik 12C27. Let's see. Let's learn a little bit about that. Sandvik 12C7. Okay. So it's similar to 14C28N. That's not bad. For that price, that's not bad. It sounds like 14C is an upgrade, but it's going to be well-rounded. It's going to be relatively easy to sharpen, have some good corrosion resistance, some okay edge retention, and some decent toughness. So, okay, yeah. Now, if we were to look up CTS BD1N, same question. It's a high-quality stainless steel. Interesting. And people put it up there with Oz 8 or 8CR13 MOV, which means that it's not going to have the greatest edge retention. And this is just at a glance. Could I do some better research? Could I actually go over and look up the actual composition of the steel? Sure. But when people say that it's similar to Oz 8, so yeah, I'll say this on a materials level alone. So far, the CRKT, Jake does look to have better materials. I'll take aluminum and G10 over FRN handle scales any day of the week. And I'm not a fan of CTS BD1N steel. Now, you can get some Spyderco lightweight models that have a more premium blade steel. A buddy of mine got a Maximate Shaman, a Maximate Manix 2. He loves his Manix 2. But it was the lightweight version with the FRN handle scales. And he blew the knife up, tore the handle scales off, got a new chassis, and then put different scales on there just so he could get the Max Mint knife. And I told him he probably should have just bought a regular Shaman or a regular Mannix to begin with. But he wanted to go through the process, and he loves it. Then he dropped his Mannix 2. Point first, and the tip shattered. So we had to reprofile that. It was great. K Mason says, true, I don't dislike their FRN though. Yeah, I mean, it's all comes down to a personal preference. If you like it, that's good. For me, I don't like the high composite plastics. I don't. Some people do. Hard to say. Tory Casey said, it sold out in 3 minutes. I believe that. When I came back to check on the mash, it was gone. Finito. Done. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Sometimes they're around for a day. Sometimes they're around for a minute. Sometimes you don't have time. K Mason says that the Spy 27 blade steel is slept on. I have heard good stuff about that. Reverse tux. Okay. All right. All right. Well, Mike, I'm actually going to be following you out, good sir. It's been a little bit over an hour. I'm going to go ahead and call it for tonight. It's been a long day. Like I said, I had a lot going on at my day job today. I'm tired. It's time to call it a day. So to everybody that joined me for the live stream tonight, thank you. I definitely appreciate you. Little teaser. The pre-order for the Berserker is going on, and I will be one of the first to do a review and first impressions on this guy. So please stay tuned for that. I'm also going to be checking out the Utgard Nano from Midgard's Messer, the tiniest knife that I've ever had on this channel. And it's I'll tell you what, already this is a really fun knife. So guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're going to go live again, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, every single Wednesday until YouTube says that I can. Other than that, I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your evening, and I will see you on the flip side.